All right, let's talk about this. Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. Yeah, I'm gonna take a seat right here. Oh man. So Errol Spence is giving back that run back of karma to Keith Thurman, saying that, man, please, you duck me, son. Well, hey, the way I see it, this is boxing, yo. And Spence could be the bigger man. And I think that Keith Thurman should have the opportunity to fight Spence. Just like I had the opportunity back then when I thought Spence should have fought Keith, but Keith didn't do it at that time. Well, people saying Spence is on to better and bigger things. Well, how much better and bigger things are there for Spence at this moment? And let me ask you a question. If you ask Keith, the people say, well, Keith just want that fight because of what? Does he see blood in the water from the accident also? I mean, Crawford said it too. He's like, oh, I don't want to take that fight because I don't want people to make any excuses for Spence. So what do Spence have right now at the moment? Well, he has Danny Garcia. But before we get into that, remember what I said about Manny Pacquiao. He did a 360. He tried to fight Crawford, right? And he tried to call Bob Arum to make that fight, and we all know Bob Arum don't want to pay. So he's like, all right, forget it. Then we heard about this so-called Triple G. That didn't go right. So then he did 360, and everybody's saying now, well, Mikey Garcia is talking about Manny Pacquiao gave us a call, and he might be interested into fighting Mikey Garcia. But Errol Spence, let's just assume this, right? Since you got better and bigger things, so what's the better and bigger things that's coming up with you? Well, so-called you're supposed to fight Danny Garcia. Now, Danny Garcia, what's the other bigger and better things besides Danny Garcia do you have? Well, you don't have Kell Brook because he can't make weight, and you know, it is what it is with Kell Brook. I'm not gonna make a big deal with him. But let's say you don't want to give Keith Thurman a fight. You don't want to give Keith Thurman a fight, right? Well, if you don't want to give Keith Thurman a fight, what is there next? Well, you say Danny Garcia is the bigger and better things for Spence right now, which I say, well, what if Manny Pacquiao decides to fight Danny Garcia instead of Mikey Garcia? I mean, look at it. He has the two Garcias to pick, right? And he could pick anyone, and anyone would jump on Manny Pacquiao's tail to fight him. So let's say, this is just hypothetical talking. Let's say Manny Pacquiao decides he gives Danny Garcia's camp a call, right? Now, I know that, that fight with Spence is being made, supposedly, right? But there's no signed, sealed, and delivered date yet, so I don't know what's really going on. Maybe at the end of this month, signed, sealed, delivered, but hold up. Let's say Manny Pacquiao said, you know what? I want Danny Garcia. Would the new news out there would be like, oh, Manny Pacquiao took Danny Garcia from Errol Spence? Would that be the new news? If he suggests to Danny that we could make this fight? Now, what happens to the bigger and better things with Errol Spence? That's not in the picture no more, right? Because Manny Pacquiao said, Danny, I want you now. Now what? Now what? What's the new news if that should happen, hypothetically? What's next for them? What's next for Errol Spence and his camp? Nothing, right? Maybe Ugas. But he didn't say he wanted Ugas. He said he wanted Danny, Bud, and Manny Pacquiao. So what's next? He ain't gonna fight Bud. We all know that. They both not gonna fight each other. They're still trying to make that fight a big fight, right? So the way I see it, it depends on Manny Pacquiao. If Manny Pacquiao said, listen, I'm taking Danny Garcia from you, Errol Spence. Well, what is Errol Spence gonna do? Is he gonna say, Keith Thurman, You only Keith Thurman's the only fight he could possibly fight, right? That makes sense. I mean, Keith Thurman fought Porter. Porter fight Keith. I mean, all these guys fought each other except Errol Spence. Errol Spence just fought Porter. Unless Errol Spence is going to do a part of Porter and Errol Spence part two, I don't think he's going to give Porter another rematch. That's just the way I see it. Okay, so be careful what's going to happen in the future because you don't know. Next thing you know, Porter's asking Errol Spence for a rematch and he don't want to give it to him. Hey, how do you feel about that? I think he should give it to him. Just like Keith is asking Pacquiao for a rematch, but Pacquiao's not going to give Keith a rematch. Well, why? Well, he's older. He's looking for bigger and better things. And he's the cash cow. And that's history. I mean, the man is 40-something years old, of course. And he's looking for unification. Or maybe another division. You know, but like we said, that ain't going to happen with Triple G. So we'll leave that alone. But just remember, because a lot of people are not saying it, Manny Pacquiao reached out to Bob Arum again, and he canceled that fight twice. Same side of the street, and when Manny Pacquiao called Bob Arum, what did he do? He blocked the fight twice. Okay? Why would you do that? Yeah. So it would be so funny if Manny Pacquiao decides to pick Danny Garcia. It would be so hilarious because the next thing you're going to hear next is, Manny Pacquiao took Danny from Errol Spence, and where do that leave Errol Spence? Well, it leaves Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman if that's the case. If Manny Pacquiao want to play chess like that, okay? Or it leaves Errol Spence not to fight anybody for the rest of the year. Or maybe he could fight one of his mandatories, right? Anything can happen. So we shall see what's going to happen. But it will be so hilarious if Manny Pacquiao decides to take Danny Garcia up for the fight. And Errol Spence is just left there with who knows. So be careful about saying, man, it ain't going to work, yo. It could work, okay? Errol Spence should just do what he's supposed to do and fight the best. And that's Keith Thurman. Be a bigger man, bro. Matter of fact, just take all your frustration out on Keith Thurman in the ring. That's what boxers do, man. Okay, if Keith Thurman couldn't be the bigger man, or he was scared of you at the time, and that's his insecurities. But now he want to fight you after he saw you fight Porter. Now he sees something like how Mikey sees something with you, Errol. Maybe he sees something. But at the end of the day, if Manny Pacquiao decides to pick Danny Garcia, that's man, that would be some shit, yo. That would be honestly some shit. And I would like to see that chess move right there for Manny Pacquiao instead of fighting Mikey Garcia. Like I said, there's nothing I see in that fight with Mikey Garcia. The only thing I can see with Mikey Garcia in that fight is the whip ass that Manny Pacquiao will deliver to Mikey Garcia, and how I could compare it to Errol Spence IQ whip ass that he gave to Mikey Garcia. That's it. And if Manny Pacquiao stops Mikey Garcia or knocks him down once, maybe twice, well, hey, that's an argument that I always say that could happen. I could say, hey, look what Errol did with Mikey, right? And look what Pacquiao did with Mikey. Easy work, yo. But we shall see, because I'm not hearing anything. Thank God for UFC, because, just sitting here and waiting and waiting and waiting. I ain't got time for all the hearsay and what these boxers going to do and what they're doing, besides boxing. And I can't I don't want to catch up with all that shit. Tank Davis this, Lomu that, and Ryan Garcia this, and Timo Lopez, all that. Listen, I want to fight that Sign Seal Deliver. Thank God for UFC, because I could watch that while these idiots figure out what they want to do. If this pandemic goes longer than this year, next. Y'all gotta get. Time is escaping from you. Y'all gotta come up with something. When it comes to Terrence Crawford and Bob Arum, I don't believe anything they got to say because Bob Arum is the one that's in charge, and Crawford showed that. Okay, you have a welterweight division belt. You should command that fight and say, listen, I want to fight Errol Spence. I want to fight Manny Pacquiao. But Bob Arum is like, I don't get it, man. Bob Arum, you can still make money with Manny Pacquiao, but for some reason, you're not taking that fight. I don't know why. Maybe you don't have confidence in Crawford. Okay, maybe it's not a big enough pot because Crawford doesn't make enough views. But that's what I would say also when it comes to Danny Garcia and Manny Pacquiao. Who makes more views? If y'all want to talk about money and views, well, I think Danny Garcia will make a better fight than Mikey Garcia. I think so. And I think that's where Manny Pacquiao should lead himself to Danny Garcia. Don't even worry about don't even worry about what's gonna happen with Errol Spence. Cause I don't know. I really don't. And just being honest, and I'm on vacation and I'm enjoying my time, so I'm gonna cut this short. Listen, y'all have a good one, a safe one, and on to the next.